Now we're going to talk about Astrotrain from the reveals from Screen Rant for probably what's going to be the SDCC reveals too. And Astrotrain is just one of those characters that I'm actually kind of surprised we're getting yet another figure of him. There's clearly someone at Hasbro or Takara that really loves this character. Now, me personally, I've always loved Astrotrain. He's always been my favorite of all the Triplechanger Decepticons. Just the nicest one of the bunch. And I mean, when we got his old Classics toy in 2006, we were satisfied. We're like, hey, this is pretty good. Not really digging the bullet train, but I mean, they gave us what they gave us. And then like the Titans Return one that came out in 2016, I mean, it clearly was showing like, hey, we want to tackle this again and try a second time. But the problem with even with the Titan Return one was it was a departure. It was a departure from what the character could be. And while it was a larger scale and it created a uniformity, which people were asking for because people didn't really like how we had like two deluxes that were two deluxe Triplechangers in the Classics Chug, whatever generations line you want to call it. And then we had one Voyager. So it created a kind of uniformity by making him a Voyager there. But still, just didn't look like the character that they wanted. Now, that, again, came out in 2016. So what does that mean? That means that trademarks are going to expire, and we got to use the name again. I mean, again, when we got that old Classics one, how did they buy time in between? Well, they did reissues. There was a Creo. They do, I think there was also like a Platinum release that had him in orange. Like, they do stuff in between to keep that name afloat. But it's been 3 years. It's 2019. The War for Cybertron Siege line needs some more meat on the bone. And it looks like, just like I was talking about Ape Face, we're getting something here that is clearly a strong representation of the original Generation 1 toy. And, I mean, wow, this looks great. And especially considering that this is said to be a leader class. What's cool about this, it's also for people that are like, hey, man, like, you got Astrotrain, 86 movie. This guy was carrying everybody. I guess they're just trying to emphasize on him how big he really is. I can imagine now people could kind of take their legend scale figures and kind of, interact with it and stuff and try to recreate scenes from the 86 movie. But point being is that using a leader class scale for this, at least what's good about it is it gives the budget to really have every piece and part to do the Triplechanger justice. And we got that old steam locomotive, and we got that shuttle that has like the tarp over it, which really is the aesthetic of Astrotrain. And we get something that, like I said with Ape Face, what the fans want. They want something that looks like the original Generation 1 toy and or character, and have alt modes that aren't modern interpretations that are actually based off of those old interpretations. What's an interesting mention here from ScreenRant.com is that while they do mention that it's a leader class and it's able to do all that kind of stuff, he also comes with a whole bunch of weapons. So he has the I'm reading off here, JF-50 Ionic Displacer Blaster, JF-30 Astro Blaster, W-15 Destabilizer Cannon, and W-40 Turbo Core Derailer. Supposedly, these 5 weapons combine to make the Omniforce Orbital Cannon. Now, I guess it's because it's a leader class and we have the gimmick where it's all kinds of combining weapons and stuff, and we have the Battle Masters and everything. I guess they wanted to add an extra play value to this character. So, I mean, I dig that a lot. It's really cool. It looks really nice. I don't know what to say. This is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we've wanted up to this point. And I mean, it's just the only complaint that I have really is now we're going to have a Triplechanger Decepticon that's in the leader class. I don't think we're going to probably get the others in that leader class scale. I think this is more just because Astrotrain was one of those characters that was depicted huge at some points and smaller at others. When you have Devastator inside you, when he's in Devastator combined mode, you got to be some kind of a size. I mean, mass shifting aside. But this is pretty cool. It just now it's people are going to go like, what do I do with my Voyager now from Titan's Return? I get a feeling the TFCon charity auction is going to have a lot of new product being donated coming around. But this is awesome. Looks really good. Keeps the name fresh again for the trademarks and gives you a new play pattern. I mean, now that we got Omega Supreme coming, who's also a shuttle and a large figure, and now we got this guy too that's going to be a leader class. It's going to be a lot of fun for Transformer collectors and people who like to do displays and dioramas. Is really going to add a lot to this line.